Okay. Are we expecting?
Yeah, can we start, Prof?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be lovely.
Yeah.
I'm just going to share my screen with you, and let's just see where we are here, I think.
Yeah. And before, okay, I will let me give me a second.
Okay.
If okay, to give you as a co-host. Okay. Yeah,
Okay, I
Prof.
think that's
Claudia, and before we begin our online lectures, we would like to invite our rector, Prof. Saari, to give a brief remarks for our programs today. Okay, Prof. Saari, rector.
Yes.
Yeah, can you give please a brief remark to open our program today? Ya, silakan Pak.
Okay, right. Excuse me, Mrs. Claudia.
hello. Good evening, good afternoon.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very happy to be here with you all today. I'm sorry I'm not
Okay,
there in person.
we get to start now. Uh, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Uh,
Waalaikumsalam.
Good night for Professor Claudia, or for our leader and lecturer and students, and good afternoon for Professor Claudia. The
Thank you.
Honorable Professor Claudia Molnar, an expert in English language pedagogy from University of Pannonia, Hungary. The Honorable leaders and lecturers from State Islamic Institute of Kerinci who are joining this program, and also all students from Faculty of Education and Teacher Training, State Islamic Institute of Kerinci. Professor Claudia Molnar, it is a great honor and pleasure for us at State Islamic Institute of Kerinci to meet you at this very special program, Visiting Professor. Suaranya bisa didengar ya?
Pak, bisa Pak?
Okay. On behalf of the State Islamic Institute of Kerinci, I would like to express our sincere gratitude for your positive response to be one of visiting professor at our institute. Your willingness is appreciated very much. We hope this program will be a starting point for implementation Memorandum of Understanding between State Islamic Institute of Kerinci and Pannonia University. I sincerely hope that in the future, the implementation of this collaboration will not be limited to academic, but will also include joint research and publications, community service, conference and seminar, and student or academic staff mobility. I also would like to give appreciation and thank for all parties, both at State Islamic Institute of Kerinci and Pannonia University, who have initiated this collaboration. Professor Claudia, our lecturers and students as well, let me give you a brief information about our area, which is Khalid Kerinci Regency and State Islamic Institute of Kerinci. Geographically, Kerinci Regency is a highland which is located in the head of the island of Sumatra in the western part of Indonesia. Kerinci has plenty to offer in the natural and cultural tourism sectors. In this place, we have a highest mountain on the island of Sumatra, and it is an active stratovolcano with 3,805 meters above sea level. This mountain is called Mount Kerinci. At the foot of this mountain, spread like a carpet, a green carpet, the largest tea plantation in Asia, with it is called as a major tourism destination. In addition to this, here are also many historical objects and natural tourism attractions, including the oldest Malay legal text in the world, stored in the village of Tanjung Tanah, Kerinci, near Lake Kerinci. It was first discovered by Petrus Verhoef in 1941 and re-examined and published by Uli Kozo, a professor from Germany, in 2002. You may add the facts to your consideration to come and visit Kerinci someday, besides academic collaboration between our institutions. For brief information, State Islamic Institute of Kerinci was established 1997 with 2 faculties and 4 departments only. Then we have been working progressively to grow and develop in quality and quantity. Currently, we have 4 faculties and a school of postgraduate studies with 26 departments. We offer both undergraduate and postgraduate degree program, which is held in 3 campuses. With such a progress, we are now looking forward to and working toward the transformation of the institute into a university in the near future. In order to improve the quality of the academic practices and infrastructure of our institution, we are also reaching out nationally and internationally through collaboration with national and international higher education institutions. We believe that an endeavor is a must in the globalized world as a form of our participation in making the world a better place to live in for people or any race and nation. Today, we are confident to say that this specific professor will be follow-up activities to strengthen not only the academic relation between State Islamic Institute of Kerinci and University of Pannonia, but also giving benefit to improve human resources for two countries. Therefore, we are keen to establish sustainable endeavors with Pannonia University in both the academic areas agreed in the documents of the Memorandum of Understanding. Last but not least, I would like to invite you, Pannonia University's faculty, members, and staff to come and visit our institution at any suitable times and occasion. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Rector Prof. Asari, to give a brief remarks to open our program today. And before coming to Prof. Claudia, we would like to inform you, Prof. Claudia, and this is our second program. Previously, one of our lecturers has visited University of Pannonia. And later we will invite Dr. Tony to share his activity during in University of Pannonia. Okay, Prof. Claudia, it's time for you what we are waiting for, an online lectures delivered by Prof. Claudia Molnar, and we greatly admire your expertise in English pedagogy. And we believe that your insight would be invaluable to our undergraduate, postgraduate students, and academic staff as well. And now, Prof. Claudia, please to deliver your online lectures. Thank you.
So first of all, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. And thank you to Professor Rector for the introduction and the explanation of your institute. I'm very sorry that I'm here in Hungary and not with you physically. It would be beautiful to be there with you all. So today we have these 15 minutes or so and then some questions, and so I'm not going to be very, very academic with you. I thought it would be better if I show you a little bit about how we now approach language pedagogy from a teaching and a learning perspective, not just here in Hungary at the University of Pannonia, but around this region of Central Europe. So we're going to be talking about communicative language teaching, which we all know a lot about, which started way back in the 1970s, as we know. But we're going to take it to the next level and actually think more about lexical approach to teaching and how we communicate in our own language, and how it is that we are communicatively multitasking. And what I mean by this is that quite often today, right now, I am able to talk to you through the computer, being hundreds and thousands of miles away, and maybe some of you there are with other people and you're talking to them while you are listening to me. Maybe you are taking notes while you are listening to me. This is a form of multitasking through communication. And because this is what everybody is doing today, when we think about computers, digital communication, telephones as well, and all sorts of devices, actually, we are communicating all the time in many, many different ways. So one of the other things that we think about now, particularly in language pedagogy, is much more about raising awareness of how the language is used rather than teaching the language through a grammatical process. So when we think about what communicative grammar is, this is very much the focus now of language pedagogy. And there's lots of research that has been done, including myself, about communicative language teaching. I wrote a paper on this 4 years ago. And also in terms of this language anxiety and the lack of willingness to communicate, what we find is that the more we focus on the rules of the language and the use and the structures of the language, now we are bringing down levels of communication. And what we want to do is we want to focus here on the function of the language. So this is how we're using the language to convey a function. So what response are we expecting from the language we use? And what do we require from the other person? So students often say to us that I need more words, I need more grammar, I need more vocabulary. But when someone says to me, for example, I need more words, my question is, for what? What do you need more words for? What would you like to do in English today that you cannot do in English? These are the words that you use. These are the words that you need. And the same when students tell me, I need more grammar. I see a little face behind you, Professor Adal. You have some help in the background there.
Yes, thank you, Prof.
And so when we think about grammar and lexis, okay, we always focus on structures, we always focus on vocabulary, okay, but really we want to think about grammar as the language in use with the words we are using. So the two go together. We always wanted to separate, vocabulary, lexis here, and grammar. And when we talk about vocabulary, we talk about individual words like these bricks. But when we talk about lexis, we are talking about chunks of language. And this is the vocabulary and the grammar together, because you cannot separate them anymore. So this is why we say, really, which is more important, these bricks, or this mortar? Because really what students want is more language. So not more words and more grammar, but more language. And so this is basically the focus of language teaching and learning today. And the more research we do about this, the more convinced we are that this is the way forward, particularly since the COVID pandemic, when many people were forced online and into online communication. And this online communication suddenly became international communication straight away. And multilingualism has now become the new norm. Now, most people are bilingual somehow. English is now the lingua franca. The language of business is English. The language of international technology is English. English is everywhere. And maybe not everybody is fluent in English, but most people understand or recognize English now. And so we're even moving from languages becoming standardized just for communicative functions into this multilingual realm. And maybe not everybody is multilingual yet, but we are becoming very close to this. So when we think about materials that we want to use, we have to be very mindful that we meet the interest of our learners, okay? And we're using a lot of guided discovery approaches and really tapping into critical thinking skills. Digital communication and the use of digital devices has made people much more critical in their thinking. It's also made people much better at problem solving. The younger generations, the generations we are teaching now, they are natural problem solvers because they use critical thinking skills, much more than we ever did. So we always wanted to be taught, tell me more, tell me. Now it's show me how and I shall do it. You know, this is very much the approach to learning now. Also, we integrate our skills on many, many levels now. So we don't want to always separate reading and writing and speaking and listening. We want to know, how can we use listening to develop writing skills? How can we use reading to develop speaking skills, for example? So we're having a much more holistic approach to the language now. And the other thing we need to think about is, how can we encourage autonomous learning? Many, many young people now, so actually my PhD thesis was written about autonomous learning within language learning and language pedagogy. And the more research I do on this topic as well, the more I realize how autonomous we are in all types of learning in everyday life, not just in language learning now, but particularly with language, especially with young people who are using social media, following famous people and celebrities. Most of this is done in English as well. And even if it's not done in English, many people, whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing, many young people are looking to the world to decide who they want to be. This is also part of autonomous learning. And with this, a lot of language learning comes as well. So even if you use online platforms for language learning, like Duolingo, you have to learn how to use the platform. You know, so everything kind of goes together. We have lots of people joining us. It's very nice. And also, because of what's happening is more and more countries are becoming very focused on language testing and language exams. What we're starting to find that in the classroom, if we approach language teaching and learning with the strategies that learners need to take exams, then we are reducing the levels of exam anxiety and language anxiety, and we are increasing the levels of successful exam takers as well. So I wrote a paper back in, I can't remember the exact date anymore. I think 2017, about the gap between authentic language use and how authentic the language is in language exams. And this gap is quite wide. So it's quite often very difficult for learners to see the link between the exam and how it will help them outside of the classroom. And again, this comes back to autonomous learning strategies. So like I said, we have to think about how we can integrate skills. I just thought this would be a good example to show how materials can help this. But we can't rely on materials all of the time. So how we I just thought we would I would show you a couple of examples of activities that we would focus on when teaching grammar and presenting language, and maybe it will help you to see some of the things that I've been talking about. So if we have a look at all of these sentences here, they have something in common. And actually, if we want to look at the grammar, we can see that all of these sentences are in the simple, whether they are the present simple or the future simple or the past simple. They're all in the simple, but each one has a very different function. So for example, here we are stating a fact. Here we are making a comparison. Here we are making a complaint. Here we are making an excuse. Here we are making a decision. So we are making lots of things with the simple. Okay. So when we look at this here, all of these are in the continuous form, whether it's the past continuous, whether it's the future continuous. Okay. But the action that these structures have are linked, because in all of these, we are making statements. And in all of these, we are describing events. When we raise awareness and we show students of this type of activity, we're helping them to see the link between the structure and the activity. Because quite often, students are very good at learning, this is what the simple looks like, this is what the past simple, this is the future simple, this is the present continuous, but they don't see the link between the structure and the function. In this way, they can remember that, okay, when I am making a comparison, I need to use a simple structure. When I am describing, I need to use a continuous structure. And then the same for the final aspect when we look at the perfect, for example. Okay, the English language is very famous for using different words to say what we mean. So instead of saying, I'm not hungry, we say, I've eaten. So when I say I've eaten, what I mean is I'm not hungry. So again, why is it that we use the perfect? When do we use the perfect? And actually, we always use the perfect when we are explaining why. So these are the kinds of activities that we start using with students here. And these are the kinds of critical thinking we teach our students to use when approaching grammar, for example, learning. And if we think about something very complex like the conditionals, okay, I could ask you this, you can write this in the chat box if you like, even. So if we look at this sentence, had I known they were going to be at the party, I wouldn't have gone. Okay, what is the function here? What are we doing? So most people would say that this is expressing regret. Did you have a good time? No, I wouldn't have gone. But what happens if we add one more word here? Had I known they were going to be at the party, I wouldn't have gone. But actually, I had a nice time. And now we are good friends. how has the function changed? Do we still regret going to the party? No, because we had a great time. So what we see here is when we teach when we teach a sentence in isolation like this, which is what a course book does, we teach that this sentence has one function. But when we use language, we don't speak in isolated sentences. We tell the whole story. And as we tell the story, the function starts to change. And this really is the key to communicative language teaching. And this is now the focus of language teaching and learning, and also on teacher training programs when we are teaching language pedagogy. These are the types of strategies that we are teaching our teachers to use. So this is what we are training teachers to present language in this way. And so if we just think of another short activity, we might be interested in something quite common at a very low level, okay? When we do completing sentence activities, for example, what do people think of their homes, okay? Then these are nice activities. They sometimes regret something or painting something or moving something. And straight away what we see is the function here is regret. And therefore we're using continuous form and not the conditional that we saw before. So these are a few of the activities I wanted to show. So this is how we take information from the course book and make it much more communicative and raise the awareness of how the language is used, and then coming back to the course books and showing them then how they can bring this language back into the classrooms. So other considerations for language at higher education level. So anybody who is thinking of studying at higher or further education at the University of Pannonia or anywhere else, okay, is a process approach to writing. So whenever we teach writing, and we're leading always to academic writing and presentation skills, this is all done very much through a process approach to the writing. We encourage the development of critical thinking and autonomous learning skills at higher education, because at higher education, you cannot be successful if you are not an autonomous learner. And we encourage the development of clear, appropriate spoken and written communication. And then the entry requirements will always be at B2. And then obviously the higher up we go, we're developing up to C2 level once you get to a doctoral level of your educational studies. So this is just a very small snapshot in the 15 minutes that I have. Obviously, all of these things that I've mentioned could be whole courses or whole talks on their own, but I wanted to give you a very brief overview of how we approach language teaching and learning from a communicative point of view. So thank you very much indeed, and I'm very happy to take any questions that you may have now for me.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Claudia, and that's interesting topic that you share us. Yeah, and the first things that impressed me is how you concerns on about the anxiety to the English test competence, right? And how you give a solution to overcome to get lower of the anxiety of the students, and they tend to get good scores in English competence like Duolingo, IELTS, or TOEFL. That's a great. Thank you, Prof. And before coming to the questions and answer sessions, we would like to invite Dr. Tony Indrayadi. We would like to give you 5 minutes to share about your experience during in Pannonia for your program visiting lecturers. Yeah, Dr. Tony, silakan, Mbak.
Hello.
I think
Good
we
day,
met,
Claudia.
didn't we?
Ah,
Hello,
yeah,
Tony.
yeah.
Yeah.
We met.
I mean,
I remember.
in
How are you?
2000, fine.
It's
And
nice to see you again.
2002, yeah, I was invited to your university. I mean, to give workshop to student and to discuss about
Yes.
the research with, yeah, with
I think you talked to one of my groups.
I mean to Sylvia Bati. I mean with Sylvia Bati and the dean of the university. I mean the dean of the faculty. I
Yes.
mean I forget her name. Yeah, I forget her
You
name.
did?
This time, we discussed many things about how to about methodology. About research methodology and publication, especially
Yes.
about qualitative and quantitative, and how to combine between these two method. I mean, in conducting a research. Yeah, but I was there for about 1 month.
I
1 month
remember,
in
yes.
Veszprem, right?
Yes, in
Yeah,
Veszprem. I remember you were
yeah,
with Sylvia, with Dr. Batty when we met. Yes. With another colleague
yeah.
as
We met.
well.
I
I
mean,
can't remember the name.
yeah, the time with Amirul Mukminin from Jambi University from Indonesia too, and also Heri
That's
Mulyono,
right.
Professor Heri
Yeah.
Mulyono. And it is very impressed me during I stay in Pannonia University. And right now, I want to come back there again, again and again.
You should.
Because, yeah, yeah. And Sylvia, but you have ever come to Indonesia? I mean, come to my campus, come to IAIN Kerinci, I mean, where I teach, the
Yes,
university
she
where I teach.
came
I
to
mean,
do
in
a
university.
plenary talk, didn't she?
Yeah. Maybe next time
Yeah.
we want to invite you, I mean, to come to Indonesia.
I would love that. It would be wonderful. I would love to
Yeah.
do that. I remember Sylvia came and she was talking, I think, also a little bit about autonomous learning as well, wasn't she, in her talk?
Yeah. But me, Claudia, my specification is methodology, research methodology. I have published several research in reputable international journal, especially in Scopus. And also, I'm also reviewer. I mean, from several journal, Cognitive Education, I mean Taylor and Branches, and also Ampersand. Ampersand is Elsevier. Elsevier, probably Elsevier, I mean.
Hmm.
And also in America, and
Yeah.
in America and also in Mexico. I review, I mean, some article from that journal. And in
Hmm.
Indonesia, in here, I teach, the student and also lecturers, I mean, to write how to publish article in reputable international journal.
Hmm.
Yeah. Nice to see
You're
you
a busy
again.
man. Yes, it's nice to
Yeah.
see you too.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
also,
we can write together. I mean, cooperatively.
that would be
You have a
lovely.
draft, right? Yeah, we can publish together. I mean,
I'm always happy. I love writing and researching, so I would be very happy to do that. So
yeah.
at,
So,
at the
sorry,
moment,
Claudia. Yeah, can
no, say it,
I
sir.
have your phone number? I mean, I asked to Afdal
Yes,
your phone
yes, you can
number. I
take
mean,
my
or your email,
email
right?
and
Yeah.
my email. Yeah.
Maybe sometime. Yeah, I'll email you. We talk about
Yes.
research further. Okay, yeah.
That would
Thank
be
you, Laura.
lovely.
Yeah, just
Thank
continue.
you. Lovely to see you again.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Tony and Prof. Claudia. And as what our rector said before, yeah, our collaboration is not only on academic, but also we can improve, we can build it for research and publications as well, in order to improve the quality of educations in our institutions. And I think in addition to this, why not we try to build, like, I have read about the Erasmus Mundus programs that we can
Yes.
join between institution to institutions in order to improve the quality, the human resource, and also the training for the students, the academic staff, and the lecturer as well. And I think
Yes.
many things that we can talk, and also we would like to invite you to come directly to Indonesia in our institutions.
That would
Why
be
not?
lovely.
Yeah, we can set it up in one day. Okay.
Yes, that would be lovely.
Yeah. Okay. Students and also the academic staff, the lecturers, if you have questions, we can discuss together with Prof. Claudia.
Mhm.
Silakan Bapak Ibu dan mahasiswa, jika ada pertanyaan, silakan. Terkait dengan apa yang disampaikan oleh Prof. Claudia, yaitu communicative language, communicative grammar, bagaimana pembelajaran bahasa Inggris di negara-negara Eropa, yang mana lebih fokus kepada communicative grammar, ya, bahwa sekarang tidak terbatas komunikatif itu harus kepada tensi, structure, tapi bagaimana pesan itu disampaikan khususnya di era-era saat ini di 21st century, ya, di mana kemampuan bahasa itu dibutuhkan sehingga kita kenal dengan namanya multilingualism. And you have programs, right? A doctoral degree program in Pannonia University.
Yes, we have the Doctoral School of Multilingualism.
Yeah.
Yes, we have the Multilingualism Doctoral School. Yes, and you can look at multilingualism from a language pedagogy perspective through instruction. You can look at it through so it's all applied linguistics, but then there's also neurolinguistics, sociolinguistics.
Yeah.
So from many different strands.
Ya, iya. Silakan, ada pertanyaan dari mahasiswa? Please, you can raise your hand. Yeah. Okay, we have raise hand
Arya.
from Arya Gini. Silakan Arya, and you introduce yourself first. Yeah, and then you can deliver your questions to Prof. Claudia. Silakan Arya.
Thank you so much, Mr. Afdal, for the opportunity. Question to you, Prof. What do you think about every student should experience in college, especially in communicative language, English, and what should they learn in 4 skills of English? What comes first? Grammar, speaking, listening, or writing? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I think it's a very good question to ask, because I think many students are not sure what they should focus on. And obviously, your English sounds very beautiful to me, and your pronunciation too. So you've obviously been working hard. I think one of the greatest focuses is on not being afraid to make mistakes and just communicating and then working with the mistakes to develop. But at university, there is a lot of writing and a lot of reading and a lot of writing. And writing is a very special skill, particularly academic writing. So I would say that if you are preparing to come to Europe to study at higher education, and your speaking is already quite strong, like yours seems to be, then put your focus on writing skills for now, very much so, and try to pay attention to the structure of writing. All writing has a structure. It has an introduction and a body, and pay attention when you're reading things to how structures link, how different parts of the text link. I think that's one of the hardest things for many people to get used to. I don't know, Tony, you also are a reviewer. I'm sure that a lot of the work you review or a lot of the feedback you give is about organizing text. And I think a lot of schools do not pay enough attention to how students should organize text. So that would be a good starting point. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Claudia, to answer the questions. Any other question, please? You can raise your hand by clicking
Exactly.
the raise hand actions. Yep.
Zaki?
Yep. Mr. Zaki. Okay.
Okay, Mrs. Claudia. So if we want to study in Hungary, so beside of the English proficiency, does we need to learn about Hungarian language as well?
When you are here, you will have the opportunity to learn Hungarian. Yes, it's part of the program. So you will be encouraged to learn Hungarian. Yes. Some programs, it is part of the program for you to study Hungarian, but not everyone. So, I mean, not every program, but you will get the opportunity to. And it's a very beautiful language and it's a very difficult language to learn. I'm originally from London and I learned how to speak Hungarian, and I do speak Hungarian now, but it's hard. I mean, if you think that English grammar is hard, then you try Hungarian because it's very difficult. But it's lovely and it's fun. So.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Prof. And also, please, any other questions? You can raise your hand. Yeah, while waiting the questions. And one of, I just want to share about the Stipendium Hungaricum. Yeah, if we get this
Yes,
scholarship to
stipendium.
study in Hungary, and we will be trained for the Hungarian class to learn specifically about the Hungarian language. I think that's an amazing, and that's what we are to prepare now, Prof. Claudia, to prepare our students to get a scholarship to continue their study, not only the students but also the academic staff. And this is one way for us, to get more information from you as an expert in English pedagogy, and also hopefully one day our students can continue to study a master and doctoral degree in University of Pannonia.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Yes, with that Hungarian stipendium project is a wonderful opportunity to come through. Yes.
Yeah. What about the Erasmus Mundus programs, Prof? I think
these are also nice because they give you sometimes just shorter periods, which I think can be a good idea when, if you're not sure, because, sometimes to move to another country is a big decision. And if you think you're doing it for 2 years, it can be quite scary. So the Erasmus program is quite nice because it can give you the opportunity to come and study for a short period and see how you feel and if you enjoy it, and and you feel like you can learn in the way you want to. I think it's wonderful. And I think also for teachers, I think Erasmus programs are great for teachers to have the opportunity, like Tony had, to do some teaching in another country and to realize how different students are in different parts of the world. Yeah. So when I was teaching in London, all of my groups were international. And when I started teaching in Hungary, they were, in the beginning, only Hungarians. And it was so strange for me to have just, one nationality, all the students to be homogeneous culturally. And it was something I really missed. And then at Pannonia, when we started with the Erasmus and then the Hungaricum stipendium, I think I was probably one of the most excited, because then again I could have international groups, and it's just so nice when you have international, students from at least 4 or 5 different countries in your classroom. It's very nice.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Claudia, and I think it will be
Thank you.
as a kind of motivations for our students, academic staff to continue their study in Hungary. Oke, silakan Bapak Ibu, mahasiswa masih ada pertanyaan? Yeah, while waiting the questions from the audience, from the participants, what about, I think English is still a foreign language in Hungary, right, Prof?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Students in Hungary learn a minimum of 2 foreign languages through their education, and it will usually be English and German, or French, Spanish, Russian, and then we also have a number of international schools, so that students, if they want to, they can study in Chinese schools, Japanese schools, or international British schools. There are also language specialized bilingual schools. So, Hungarian is not a language that is spoken outside of Hungary. It's a very unique language, so it's important for Hungarians to have to be multilingual, really.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Prof. Hopefully, as what our rector says, in the near futures, we would like to invite you to come to our institutions so we can conduct more programs. And
That
also,
would be lovely.
yes, and vice versa, we will send our students and also our academic staff, the lecturers, to conduct research or publications together with the academic staff from the University of Hungary. And also, from you, maybe you can bridge us to keep in touch with, the international office from University of Pannonia. So someday we will invite him or her. So I think they can give us more information about the program in Erasmus Mundus that we can join between institution to institutions.
Yeah, because I don't really deal with the processing of that. So
yeah.
But you can find it all there.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you again for having me.
Yeah. I think there is no questions anymore, I think. And I think we can. And ini one more question. Is it okay, Prof?
Okay.
Claudia, one more question.
Okay.
Okay, silakan.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shoki, and I'm gonna ask a simple question for you, Miss Prof. I'm sorry, I'm really a bit nervous here. How do we anticipate when we are nervous when we speak English because afraid of bad accent or something like that? Thank you.
I think thank you for your question, and thank you for asking your question and saying that you're nervous, because you're obviously very brave, because you did ask the question.
Thank you.
To be honest, I think if you are nervous, breathe. That's the most important thing, is to breathe. And the second thing, sorry, I've just lost you very quickly there because something went wrong. I mean, you're there, I just can't see you, sorry. I think you've got to always remember, for example, your English is much better than my Indonesian, which means that you know, and I think that this is, and also language is about communicating. And if you are able to say what you want, and English is the easiest language to say what you want, because if you say to me, Claudia, me, tea, milk, no, I know what you want. English is a
Right.
language you can communicate in with no grammar.
All right.
And so I'm not saying grammar is not important, it's very important, but not to
Yeah.
communicate. So I
One is
think
more important.
I would always say to people, just say what you want to say and don't be afraid. If someone doesn't understand, I would say, sorry, Farrell, I don't understand. Could you please explain?
All right.
And this is it. I'll tell you a
All right.
story
Thank you.
very quickly before we go. I went on holiday to Sicily. I don't speak Italian. Everywhere I
Right.
went, I said, excuse me, do you speak English? Everyone said, yes. No one spoke English. I was there 1 week and I could eat everything I wanted. I could drink the coffee I want, everything. It was so easy and no one spoke English and I didn't speak Italian. Just pointing at other people, you know, somehow we
Just a
learn.
foreign
So
language, yeah.
just don't be afraid.
All right. Thank
Okay,
you
thank
so
you
much for
very
your
much.
advice.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate
And
for
thank
your advice. I really appreciate your advice.
You're very welcome. And yes, and your English sounds very lovely to me, so I wouldn't worry about it. So I will say
Thank you
thank
so
you
much.
very much for having me. After
Yes,
unfortunately, I will have to go now because I have another meeting.
Yes.
But thank you for having me, and I really hope we get to meet again
Hope so.
soon in person.
Sure. And once again, thank you, Prof. On
Thank
behalf
you.
of our institutions, IAIN Kerinci, we would like to say thank you. And your insights in the English pedagogy is very beneficial for us in order to improve our understanding and knowledge. And I think one day, maybe we can invite you with a specific topic like the conducting research or the specific topic in the research and also the publication as well. And once again, thank you, Prof. Claudia.
Thank
Dan
you.
terima kasih Bapak Ibu yang sudah hadir.
Thank you, and
Thank
have
you.
a nice weekend, everyone. Thank you
Yeah,
for
thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Miss
Bye-bye.
Claudia.
Right, Susan.
We invite you come to Kerinci.
Thank you. I'd love that. I would love that. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
okay, Prof. Ya, Prof. Terima kasih Bapak Pak Rektor, juga Pak Dekan FPK, dan juga Pak Tony, dan juga Bapak Ibu, dosen, mahasiswa. Mungkin nanti untuk selanjutnya kita akan ada juga Pak, ini tanggal 30, itu dengan dosen dari UPM Pak, University Putra Malaysia. Itu terkait dengan pembelajaran teknologi ya, learning teknologi Pak, pembelajaran menggunakan teknologi. Nanti kita akan share ininya, brosurnya. Dan kita juga ini Pak, kita juga punya target nanti international office at least once in 2 months, sekali dalam 2 bulan nanti, atau kalau bisa sekali sebulan nanti kita berusaha untuk membuat kegiatan-kegiatan seperti ini Pak, dengan menghadirkan profesor, ahli dari berbagai university di berbagai negara. Itu saja Bapak Ibu. Terima kasih Pak Rektor yang sudah mensupport kegiatan ini.
Terima kasih.
Ya, terima kasih Pak Dekan.
Selamat
Pak
malam untuk
Ade.
semuanya.
Sama-sama Pak Abdal. Mohon maaf nih terlambat.
Iya Pak. Ya Pak. Terima kasih Pak
Sehat
Tony.
Pak Rektor.
Ya, alhamdulillah sehat ya.
Sedang di
Ya,
Bogor.
mudah-mudahan
Pak.
ini bermanfaat untuk mahasiswa kita terutama. Mudah-mudahan ada yang berminat untuk ke luar negeri.
Amin. Mudah-mudahan Pak.
Amin, mudah-mudahan.
Ya, mohon izin Pak
Sekarang
Rektor,
banyak
Pak
tawaran itu.
Ya. Ya Pak.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Abdal.
Oke deh, cukup.
Salam untuk semuanya.
Ya Pak. Ya Pak. Mohon izin Pak,
Sukses.
kita sudahi Zoom
Ya,
kita.
sukses selalu. Ya.
Ya Pak. Mahasiswa juga terima kasih banyak sudah berpartisipasi, sudah bertanya. Ya, semoga kedepannya kita akan lebih ini lagi, Lebih semangat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam. Luar biasa, luar biasa.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.